And if you would just listen to the piece from beginning to end of the section that we're playing, I would then like to ask you some questions after that. Okay?
Okay. So the last thing you heard was some kind of noise, like something hitting somebody?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you heard that noise, something hitting somebody, did you hear the man say anything, or did you hear Trayvon say anything?
I could hear a little bit.
Okay, what could you hear?
I could just hear like it's like the headphone, because the headphone he might got off, but I could still hear a little bit like.
Okay, what could you hear?
Like a little get off, some stuff.
You heard get off?
Like a little get off. Now I'm calling it.
Could you tell who was saying that?
I couldn't know Trayvon.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't hear Trayvon.
Okay, let me make sure I understand. You could hear it was Trayvon saying that?
That's why I was calling his name.
And he was saying what now?
Like, get off.
Get off?
Yeah.
Is that clear that you were hearing that, or you think you heard that?
Yeah, I could hear it. A little bit. Get off, get off. Then the phone just hung up.
Okay. All right. Now, before all this started, earlier in the day, had Trayvon been talking to you, right? So you recognize his voice, right?
Yeah.
And you had heard him on prior occasions, so it was crystal clear this was Trayvon talking to you, right?
Did you hear that clearly enough?
Yes, sir.
So, at one point you said you could hear a little because the headphone might got off?
Was on the grass, sir.
What? Right, but what you're saying here is the headphone, meaning you think that maybe the
headset fell.
The headset might have fell. That's what you were thinking might have happened?
Yes, sir.
But you believe that it was not in the usual position?
Yes, sir.
And that even though what you think the headset was off or got off in some way,
yes, sir,
that you could still hear a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And what you said was you could hear a little like get off.
Yes, sir.
And when Mr. De La Rionda said, who was saying that, didn't you say, I couldn't know it was Trayvon, or I couldn't hear it was Trayvon?
I couldn't hear it that well. It was Trayvon. But when I heard get off, and I started calling his name, Trayvon, what's going on?
I couldn't hear that when it was Trayvon, but when I heard get off, and I started calling his name, Trayvon.
Could it sound like his voice?
Does it sound like his voice?
Yes, ma'am.
It sounded like his voice, or kind of sounded like
it sounded like his voice.
So help me understand this better. As far as what you said on the recording, when Mr. De La Rionda said, could you tell who was saying that? Are you saying that what the jury just heard was you saying, I could hear it was Trayvon?
Yes, sir.
And you didn't say, I couldn't hear it was Trayvon, or I couldn't know it was Trayvon?
I said I could hear it's Trayvon. That's how I speak. You cannot hear me that well.
All right. You were having trouble hearing him because he
had trouble hearing me.
Now I'm really confused. Are you saying that
the state attorney had trouble hearing me? Him, next to you? The bald-headed?
That doesn't help much, does it?
No.
So, I'm sorry that I'm not quite clear on what you're saying. You're saying, first of all, to the jury that what you said is I could hear it was Trayvon.
I could hear it's Trayvon.
And then he asked you again, and you said, that's why I was calling his name.
Yes.
But by then, the phone was disconnected.
Yes.
So you heard, when you gave the questions and gave for the first time that you heard this little get off on April 2nd. The phone cut off right after you heard get off.
Yeah, not cut off. Like you can hear grass sound, wet grass, and you hear Trayvon just saying get off, then now the script saying Trayvon, and the phone hung up. The phone ended. The phone had ended.
So what you're saying is that after you heard something hitting somebody, then you heard grass.
Repeat your question again.
After you say that you heard something hitting somebody, then you heard grass.
I didn't say that. I didn't say somebody was hitting. Somebody I heard get off. That's what I said. I started hearing somebody say, Trayvon saying, get off, sir.
At the beginning of the recording we just played, Mr. Delarianda said, so the last thing you heard was some kind of noise, like something hitting somebody, and you said, yeah. Do you agree?
I said, yes, sir.
Well, you just heard it, right? Did you hear that?
No, sir.
Could we play that again?
No, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Could we play that part again?
Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So the last thing you heard was some kind of noise, like something hitting somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Is that you?
Yes, sir.
And then when Mr. Delarianda said, basically after that, did you hear the man say anything or did you hear Trayvon say anything? And you said, I could hear a little bit. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is the point where in prior statements you said the phone cut off. Correct?
Yes, sir.
But today, in Ms. Fulton's living room, and he asked you, could you hear anything else? You said, yeah. As a matter of fact, I could hear a little bit. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And the first thing you said, well, I could just hear, like, I guess, because the headphone might have come off or you might have got off. So you're saying there that you heard the headphone in your mind
Came on.
And then the next thing you heard was grass.
Yes, sir.
Can you describe that for me? When you say you could hear grass or